Hello, I am so excited to be here with you guys today with my friend Christian Alex Nkombengnondo. He is from Gabon. He's an activist, an entrepreneur. He's just a great person and done some amazing things, has an amazing story. I can't wait till we're able to read his book about his life. Christian, we've been talking about writing this book for a long time. I got to help you with that because it's just an amazing.
You don't want me to blast you online, right?
That's okay. You can blast me. All right. I will take it
Madam.
all day, every day. Okay. Yes, but we're gonna work on that. 2023, that's gonna be the goal, okay? To get your book together. But
Thank you.
yeah, we've been friends for many years when he lived in DMV. Now he relocated. But I wanted to interview him because he has such an amazing story, not only about his story, but we often have many debates ourselves, me and Christian, about Africans versus African Americans, the difference. We differ in so many things, but we agree about a lot of things also. So I want us to get into that. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Christian, like your whole journey for activism and entrepreneurship.
Well, first of all, I would like to say thank you to my dad. Though he's not still around, he passed away. But I want to say thank you for him accepting me, my choice, because I decided to come to America instead to go to Europe. Because most of African from Central Africa, we go to Europe, we go to France because we were colonized by the French.
Mm-hmm.
So, so not going to France and coming to America, yeah, that was a blessing for me because I was able to look at myself in the
Mm-hmm.
mirror after being educated here and after, I mean, even while encountering everyday issues and realities that African American, my brothers in America have. But me, I was encountering it when I was like 19, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was a good trip because it made me be able to decolonize myself even more.
Yes, I love it because I introduced Christian to this book called Decolonizing the Mind, and I think it's become one of his favorite books. So kudos to me for that. But but I want to also talk about the importance of how colonization has become so important. The Queen recently just died, and so many people have mourned her. But there's other people that's bringing to light the fact that colonization existed and how hurtful it was to so many countries, including Africa, right? And how even though people are mourning the queen, some people are like, they don't have to be happy, mourn someone who is their oppressor. So we understand that colonization really affects many countries. How do you think it has affected? I know you come from a French colonized country, Gabon, Africa, and your country specifically.
Well, I will use one of. I mean, I'm not gonna paraphrase Sheikh Anta Diop,
Mm-hmm.
but he's one of the greatest, scholar in Africa who spoke about, it's like when something was done in the past, you can't just forget it.
Yes.
And and the nation, the people that it's like we neglect ourselves. It's like we don't consider ourselves. It's like the only people on earth that kind of like saying that, oh, they always find an excuse even for the oppressor is the black people.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that because when you look at what happened in Japan, when they bombed Japan with the Hiroshima and everything, Japanese never forgot that, and that's why they took the nuclear bomb. Japan has nuclear bomb, and they're not gonna ask for anybody the authorization to have the nuclear bomb because they don't want to be bombed ever again.
Mm-hmm.
The Jew, the same thing. You cannot even joke about it. Try it, try it, and you vanish in whatever department you are implicated. You see, but we, it's just like religion. Like when people would tell you, like, oh, when we say that Jesus is black, they say no, it's not important the color. And I always say that if the color is not important, can please the Vatican announce officially that every 5 years we will change the color of Jesus.
I love it.
Please, if the color is not important, so it's just like when you say what we went through, slavery is not important. It is very important. It was a trauma that cannot be ever javelized, or I mean, you cannot remove it. It's there.
Yes.
You see, so I know it's a long way that we have to continue to. I mean, we're the oppressed one, and we have to ask for the people that oppress us to say sorry. I mean,
Yes.
it is crazy. It is crazy. There's no. It's like there is no remorse.
Oh, we lost Christian. He's gonna come back, I'm sure. There we go. Oh, Christian, unmute yourself. You're muted. There you go. I can hear
Okay, I'm
you.
sorry. So I'm like, I'm looking at people that say, oh, it's not important the color, God, Jesus is Jesus, it's not important. And I ask that question. So let's the Vatican declare that every 5 years we change the color of God, of Jesus. And then for those who say that, what, the Western world, I mean, the Arabs started, and then after European went through slavery, because it started with Arabs. They're the one who first started slavery, and then European took it. But to act like it's not something important, and to act like it's not something that totally changed our dynamic, in the future, it changed everything. It changed everything. Now we come here to America to study. We go to France to study. While before in Timbuktu, people were coming to study in the motherland. So I think that as an African man, I think that coming to America was a blessing for me, because I was able to really understand a lot of things that a lot of my brothers from Africa sometimes do not want to take the time to understand.
And I want to get into that, because we've had these conversations personally, right, about the African stereotypes, that the divide between African Americans and Africans, and how that divide hurts us as a people as a whole, right? How we need to be more united as Black people. But I love what you said about the history of African Americans and slavery itself. Now, I teach African American literature, and the first thing that I teach is about slavery in itself. And slavery did exist before Africans were enslaved, but there has not been in any system any horrid or terrible accounts of slavery like the African American slavery. That is the truth. The slavery that you study all around the world pre African American slavery, when African Americans were enslaved, were more like indentured servants, right? They were able to kind of work their way out, or they did it for means of earning income. But the African American slavery, that was really born out of greed, out of the whole idea of capitalism, right?
The capitalism,
Yes. Basically was the worst and the most horrid form of slavery ever. And so I know that. So I teach it, so I know it. But I want to also go on to this. Sometimes as Africans, I have African friends, and a lot of times we've had these discussions. I always say Africans are very are lucky, right? Are blessed, because they're able to trace their identity. And so they still have a sense of identity, right? Coming from Africa. Where African Americans, if we were, enslaved, we have lost a sense of our identity. And I don't think that a lot of Africans understand that point. So you see a lot of the controversies where they talk bad about African Americans and say they're lazy and they don't know how to treat their men, and they are this and that, and the men are no good. I mean, it's almost like they have a colonized mind when it comes to African Americans. Can you talk about that?
Well, it's quite a very interesting topic for me, because I'm very impartial,
Yes.
especially on this thematic, because myself, I was a typical black skin, white mask when I came to America. I was the the young African boy from a decent family that was able to to go from primary school to college years without ever worrying about going to work because parents were
Mhm.
paying your studies. That only from that, there's a lot of difference with my brothers and sisters in America.
Mhm.
How many of my brothers and sisters in America can go to school without saying that they have to pay?
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So I was coming from that system where from that already there's a lot of things that you don't really look at twice because everything is okay for you. You don't have to worry about going to work because that's
Mhm.
how we are trained.
Mhm.
When you're a kid, your priority is to study. Your parents will tell you you got to study. I want you to do that. So it's very disciplined. And because the mother and the father are there, the structure is there, the root is there, and everything. But then when you come over here, uh, you want to start running without coming back to before running. You had to stand up. How did my brother and sister were able to stand up in America?
Mhm.
Were
Mhm.
they even able to stand up? And how could they stand up while we just stand up? You understand? So
Yeah.
so it's very very light, and sometimes it could be very disrespectful when you have when you have an American perspective of things, and then when you really want to go also deep and saying that, listen, you can't judge somebody when nothing was fair.
Yes.
Nothing was fair for him to stand up.
Mhm.
Nothing. But he stood up. And guess what? Even that's what I always say. And I want to say thank you again to you as a sister and all the sisters that are going to watch this video, this live, and my brothers. I want to thank you. I want to thank every African American because it's because of an African American that was slave, but that still fought to to protect an invention or fought for civil rights,
Mhm.
and then we were able to be human, considered human, and that we were able to have a degree, go to school.
Yes.
Black African American that we today say that they are lazy.
Right.
But they're the one who made you now being a doctor. You're capable to come in America and be a doctor. I'm an African doctor. I'm a lawyer. It's because of African American that passed, that died. So
Yes, that is
I
so. We
salute you.
listen. We got to stay there because I go to an African church, and a lot of times, I hear my African brothers and sisters are like, I love my African brothers and sisters. I love everything about them, the food, their culture. There's so much to learn about. But sometimes I hear them talk about, things like African Americans don't have any honor. We don't have this. And I'm like, wait, hold up. No, it's not that. We do things differently because we have a different history. I
Yeah.
can't come over to your country and say what's with the deficit of who you are or your character, not even being there or knowing the history of where you come from, right?
Now, but you have to understand something, and I always told you that when because as I started my introduction, I said I was a black skin, white mask. What does
Mhm.
that mean?
Yes, yes.
Because the question is, do you think is because you are born in Africa that your interest is really Africa? Or do you think that
Mhm.
because you are black and you are born in Africa that you're gonna be more African conscious than an African American that is looking for his history and wish he had that, but you neglect that.
Mhm.
You see, so
Mhm.
so it's
Good.
very I always say that stupidity is in every culture. You have
Mhm.
black stupid,
Mhm.
African stupid, white stupid, Asian stupid. Stupidity is something that is the most democratic. So it's not because you met one stupid African or one stupid African American or one stupid Asian American that you're gonna think that they are all stupid.
Mhm.
Or it's not
Yes.
because you met one that is ignorant, or because one is a drug dealer, or one is beating his wife, or one have many wives, or one is that means that all of them are like that.
That's good. That's good, Christian. I love that. I love that. I love the story that you told me about how when you went to school and you began to go to college and learn about African American history and
Yes,
people like Malcolm X and Martin Luther
yes,
King, that you began to understand African Americans and see them in a
yeah,
whole different
yeah,
light,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
It's 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 it's, it's, it's it takes a lot to be in the skin of an African American. I don't even think that as much as I want to be in the skin that I can, because at a certain level it's psychological. So it's beyond the skin, it's spiritual. You know, when you've been so oppressed. You understand? So they feel, my brother and sister will feel something. They will, like, for example, I'll give you a little example. If I go in the store as an African man, I go in the store, somebody that lived in Europe or in Africa, and then my son, who is the first generation, because I have a son here that I have with a sister. So my son is an African American, right? He's dad African, mother African American. But my son, he was born here. If he goes with me in the store, he will feel a discriminational act faster than me, because he was born in this culture. You see, so he knows that, hey, they are neglecting me, or they are acting like I'm not there. But me, I'm gonna neglect all that, because me, I'm like, okay, I'm a human being. Okay, what? But I will not see all those details. You see, so it's arrogant to say that an African can think what.
He went out, but he was talking about the arrogance of some Africans that come and think that they can have the subconscious, right, of African Americans. That are born here.
No, it's not easy. It's but me, I believe that we can work together. I call for that. And that's why, for example, I put a business together that I call The Bridge, where I encourage my brothers and sisters to invest in Africa, to go and visit Africa, to go try and have your own personal experience. Not let anybody tell you about it. You have money to go to Mexico. You got money to go to Montego Bay. You got money to go to all those Mexican islands. But why can't you even have money to go to Europe, but you can't have money to go to Africa?
Okay, so Christian, you know, I want to get with you on this bridge program, because we've been trying to listen. We got to do a co-sponsor a trip together, where I get some people together and we go to whatever African country you put together for us, because I know you got connections all throughout Africa.
But I told you already, the first trip is in December or January. We could do it to Gabon. Because I want people to come and see where they can buy lands. I want people to come and see how they can be in contact with plants. You understand the power of plants and cure a lot of problems that we gain from here. I want them to be in spiritual contact. So it's not just a trip. It's not a safari trip. If you're thinking that you're going to go take pictures with elephant and all that, no, it's not a trip like that. It's a trip where you're going to go and open your eyes and exchange. Whatever you have to give to your brother and sister, you will give in terms of knowledge. And they will give you too, because you will go with me in nature. We will go and experience villages, experience traditional dance, experience what you don't see on TV.
I love that. That's so
cool. Family, spend the night with a family, African family in their house, to understand that they don't live on huts. They have TV, they have cars. They
have maids. They have maids. Yes. They actually have a quality of life.
You know,
I think that's so important.
And then I always tell my brothers and sisters one magic word that I have on my site that is almost done. When you are an African American, and when I'm an African, Black African living in America like you, I'm a second-class citizen in America. Once you are Black Hispanic, Black African, Black American, whatever Black you want, when you're in America, you are a second-class citizen. But guess what? This is especially for my brothers and sisters of America, African American. Once you leave the frontier of America, you are never going to hear again that you are a second-class citizen. You are American. Because everybody's like, oh, American. Oh, yes. You see? So please understand that you have to go across the borders and make money and invest. Make money, buy lands, do things like even the Wu-Tang Clan. They've been in Japan all every year. Do like what's her name? Diana Ross, no, the other one, Tina Turner, who's been in London for so many years. You got to go outside and you will see how you are not looked at as a second-class citizen. They look at you like, oh, she's American. Oh, what she got? That must be what is on right now. Oh, she got this style of hair. She got this style of this. Or this. I want to be like this. You are business. You are a market. You are a product.
I
You are a
love that.
brand.
This is why I always encourage my people to travel, man. If you don't travel, you have half of what you need for life. Like traveling is life to me, not because I get to see other cultures, but just exactly what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Really connecting. I think it's so important for us to connect. I promise myself, I've been all over the world, but I haven't been to Africa yet. I went to South Africa, but that's a little different, but definitely want to get to the motherland and just feel the soil and touch the ground. I think that's so important. I love the bridge. One thing that we talk about too personally is there's and me being so connected to Africans and African culture and African communities is that a lot of Africans really have things that we can take, even as African American women. So I know a lot of us African American women are independent and headstrong and, rolling our necks and stuff like that. But one thing I've learned from my African, and not that African women are not headstrong either, and not, and will go off. I've seen enough African movies to know that they go hard too. But one thing I do love is that, there's a sense of like still submissiveness, right? Of really making family is important, identity, really not messing up your family name, things like that I've learned from a lot of my, not only African cultures, but Caribbean cultures, right? That are important. And every culture has issues and problems, but we can learn from one another. They can learn from us independence, right? How to have the sense of self as a woman. So I think there's so many things that we can interculturally exchange and from one another.
Exactly. I'm definitely for that. That's why I put on the bridge. And there's so much that we can learn. Imagine, imagine I'm the president of Gabon,
Mm-hmm.
but I have the mind that I have, Afrocentric, Afro consciousness, Afro awareness, and then respect. I
Mm-hmm.
respect the sense of respect for humankind, respect
Mm-hmm.
for humankind. Imagine I'm a president. Imagine most presidents in Africa had the same language, and then once, listen, I'm gonna give you a scenario. They're killing every day African American on TV, killing every day. Every day they're killing African American for no reason. But imagine now, presidents in Africa start voicing and saying, "Hey, listen, America, if you don't start changing your law on how you killing people,
Mm-hmm.
how you training your officers, if you don't put something, if black people still die in America like that, we don't do any business with you anymore. You're not gonna have the call 10, so you can have your iPhone because it's only in Africa that you have the call 10. It's only in Africa, nowhere else. It's in the Congo. The
Mm-hmm.
coltan, the mineral that they use to do the iPhone, the Android phones.
Yeah.
So if President of Africa now starts saying that, hey, listen, if you don't put respect among human beings in America, we're not gonna sell you the gas, the petrol, the gas. Things will change because that's the
Yeah.
language that they understand only.
Yes. Yes.
So it's
Yes.
not about standing and doing all that. They don't care. They see. They know what is happening. When it's
Yeah.
gonna starting to be numbers, they will be like, yeah. But you see, that's why we need a new generation. We need a new generation of African politicians. We need really African to understand that they have to decolonize their mind. They not that they have to start looking at themselves as a black Jesus, as black God. Because in the Bible it says, "You were made in my image." Why can most Africans think that if God said you were made in my image, so I can believe that God was in my image? Why is it there's
Right.
only the white people that have to believe that God could be in their image? Why is it that the Indians, the Buddhists, can imagine that Buddha is in their image? Why is it
Mm-hmm.
that we are the only one that cannot believe a God in our image?
I love that. Oh my God, you dropping some nuggets. That's so good,
You
Christian.
understand? So it's like
Yes.
I give another example. Yeah, I have a little example that I give because before being into business, international business or computer science, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be a veterinarian.
Right.
But then one day I had a friend that had a German Shepherd, and I had German Shepherd. But I'm gonna tell you something here to all people that think that the etymology of a word
Mm-hmm.
or the essence of a person,
Mm-hmm.
historical history, origin of somebody is that thing is not important, is very wrong. Because a
Mm-hmm.
German Shepherd, listen, a German Shepherd, if you take a female and a male German Shepherd and they have puppies in Las Vegas, what would they be called?
German Shepherd.
German Shepherd puppies.
That's
If
right.
you take them in Africa and they have puppies, what would they be?
German Shepherd.
German Shepherd. So when this German Shepherd, you keep his ancestry like this. If you want to buy a German Shepherd, you're gonna spend a lot of money because it's the AKC, KC, whatever they call
Yes,
it,
yes.
original. So why do you want me to respect or have value for my ancestry? Me, that is a human being, but you give respect to the ancestry of a German Shepherd, a dog.
So good.
You understand?
Yes.
Chihuahua, German Shepherd, London Breed, German Beach, all these dog origin. But my origin, you want to disrespect that. When you see my name, you be like, what's your name? No, say my name. Just like when you want to say German Shepherd, Chihuahua, all that stuff. You learn those names.
Yes.
Well, you named all those names, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not bad to try to learn also an African name, because at one time, everybody had that name, one of these names. Even if you're white today or Asians today, at one time, you were black because the origin is there. So you had a name like that.
Yes. And you say something that I love. You always say, Chalet, if they can say Arnold Schwarzenegger, they can definitely say my name.
Exactly.
I love that line.
So I think we just need to merge more, because African Americans have so much thing to give to Africans in terms of how to deal with the devil, how to deal with cohabitation, how to deal with respect. Because in Africa right now, they will say African and proud, but look at Africa. Most of the leaders in Africa are practicing black slavery on black. Do you see how they act? Some African presidents, because we have some now that are doing better, but we have still some that are still acting like they were kings.
Yes.
And people were their subjects. You can't mix a republic and a traditional system together. If you want us to stay traditional, let's stay, but don't say you're a president. Because a president come with the head of state principles, and then principle of democracy, principle of separation of power, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You see, so I'm saying that we can be as proud as we want, we Africans that are in the motherland, and say, oh, we're African. But what are we doing for Africa?
That's good. That's good. I really feel like I love to touch on something you said too, because I know just a little bit about your personal experience. You're really an activist for your country, right? And I know you've been personally affected by colonialism, being colonized, right, by the French. But you even have a story. I'm not gonna tell not to tell your whole story, but I just a piece
My
of
book,
it.
some stuff is for my book.
Yeah,
Be
some
careful.
stuff is just for your book because it's so good. It's so good, you guys. But just talk about some of the things you've seen, like injustices, inhumane practices that you've seen even in your own country in Gabon, and how you've.
No, you see, everything that I will say today is not to promote hate, but it's to promote humanity. It's to promote the sense of human. So you're not gonna be human, because now this message is gonna be for my fellow Africans from Africa that are studying in America or living in America. Why is it that when you are in America you can respect the light? Why is it that when you're in America you can respect the fact that you're not supposed to trash stuff? Why is it that when you're in America, you cannot pee on the street? Why is it that when you're in America, even to talk to a woman, you would talk with respect, or even to talk to a child, you will respect the child? But why is it that when you take the plane and land in Africa, it's like all this thing is like forbiddenness? So we are the problem of Africa ourselves. So I'm very shocked when I see African trying to pretend proud in front of African American. African American did their fights in America. Our brothers and sisters that were brought here because once they were African and they became African American, they became Black American, they became all that stuff, Negro, everything. But they were at one time African. For those who came through slavery, and not those who were here with the Indians. But anyway, that's another part of history. So those who came, they fought their fight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They didn't have the same amount of time per year to go to school. White
Mm-hmm.
people will go maybe 365 days in a day or whatever, but the black people maybe will go maybe just 2 months in a year,
Yeah.
just 90 days or 70 days in a year, but they will still compete with those who had so many months.
Mm.
So who is to really respect or devaluate?
Mm-hmm.
I give a lot of respect to African American because of them today there's human rights. Because of them today there's so many things. But what have we done? We, the generation of from 1960s, from the independence, what
Mm-hmm.
have we done since the independence?
I love that. One thing that I do notice too on that topic is even the Africans that I work for, right? They tend to even have you. If you guys have not read Decolonizing the Mind, you have to read it. I mean, it talks about language and culture. And I'm a language person because I'm an English professor. So I'm always thinking about how language is affected, but it talks about how colonized minds are broken down like this. What they do is the colonizer comes out and it doesn't just try to strip you of your language, right? Which is a big part of your culture. It strips you of everything associated with your culture and then changes your mindset to believe that the culture that colonized you is
Yeah,
actually better than your own
yes,
culture. So
exactly.
you come out generation and generation through colonized minds, and you tend to align yourself with the colonized, right? Than more with your own people. And so I see it even when I work for some Africans, I go for Africans, they love the white women, with the
No,
European.
but
Everything
it's
European is beautiful. They don't even look our way. And I'm
no,
like, what's going on?
no, but you see, I want to really touch that because I'm African. Because if you touch it a lot, they're gonna say, "Oh, you trying to disrespect or everything."
I
So
love
I'm
my
going to talk.
Africans. So
You
yeah.
see, but I'm gonna say something. It's a process that was scientifically planned because the TV was involved, religion was involved, education was involved to brainwash the entire continent. There's some that fought. We have people that are fighting,
Yes.
that are standing. We have a lot that are doing that, even doing a great job. We also have some presidents, some of them now trying to do better, like in Ghana, like you have the president of Ghana that is trying to do something good. You have even the president of Rwanda, even though his history it could be, we could say a lot about it, but
Yeah.
he's doing very good right now. We have president of Senegal also. The couple of presidents are trying to do. You see, but the big problem that we have is the mentality that you are African, but you think like a white person because you have to understand that most African graduate in Europe, but then when they graduate to Europe, everything that they make you study over there is more about them than about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you become a master of them and not a master of yourself.
So
And
good.
then when you come from there and then you are African but study in Europe. When you come now back home, you think you are a better breed, just like the house nigger and the
Mm-hmm.
field nigger,
Mm-hmm.
because you graduated from Europe. You graduated from the best school of Europe, from Pompidou or from Oxford University. So you come with it, but you forgetting that the first person that gave the degree to the person that had a degree didn't have a degree.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was something that was decided. So they say, okay, we're going to call this a degree. But whoever gave the degree to the first person that didn't necessarily have a degree because it
Yes.
was something created. You
Right. Right.
understand?
Yes. Yes.
Now you're getting it. So, but now you have people, especially Africans, they will be so on the intellectual thing. But okay, you say you have all these degrees. But what are you doing now for Africa? That is my question.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot develop something that you don't love. And that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. I feel the same way about African Americans. I can do the correlation, right, with African Americans this is what my whole dissertation is about. African Americans who reach an intellectual level. And I look at both sides of the fence. So I'm studying those African Americans who struggle with two sides of themselves because they're really from, like, maybe the hood, or another environment other than the intellectual. Those are the ones I'm really interested in. But I can see the other side of that, the intellectual African Americans that go to the Harvard and the Oxfords and the Stanford, and then they think that they arrive and they put their nose down at other African Americans, and they vote against African American policies. We're talking about like the Clarence Thomases, that don't care if African Americans get to vote because he's married to a white woman and he is, above his color.
For me, you have all this degree, but what are you doing now for your house?
Yeah.
But you don't love your house. That's the thing, because as an African, I mean, I grew up in Africa. I was born in Africa, and then I traveled to study everywhere in the world. But do you, as an African, do you remember the first time you prayed on your knees in front of a white Jesus with blue eyes, blonde hair? You don't remember? How many, like most countries in Africa that were colonized by Europe are Catholic countries. Those countries, imagine, it's like, when I started learning my history, the real history, I realized that the Catholic were the biggest slave owners.
Yes.
And they were the origin, they were the origin even of the word cemetery. You will bury somebody in the cemetery if he was owned by a white Catholic slave owner. They're the one who created the cemetery. So they will bury you around the church. That's why you see the first cemetery was around the church. But if you were not a slave owned by somebody, they would throw you in the bush. You will not have a tomb. So you see, so it is deep. It is a deep problem. It's not something superficial. You say the black and white issue. No, it's something deep. Like the colonized mentality it starts from religion.
It does.
It starts from religion. It starts from the image that how you look at yourself. You look at you praying every day in front of a white Jesus, and you pray him on things that you wish to have in your life.
Yeah.
But you can never, but they teach you to never pray like that in front of a black person, because he's gonna stop. He's gonna get you if you're telling about your shit. He's gonna come and get you, rob you.
Right. Yes. Yes.
You understand? So it is deep. It is deep when they tell you, for example, that everything that is white is white. It's like white science, the sky, the everything, that white angel, peace is white, everything. But when you look at the color black, you look, is the personified. It's like they gave a life to a color, saying that is evil. How can a color be evil? How can a color be sad? You see, so you got to understand. So me in the beginning, I was very, I was making it, I was keeping it on the surface. Oh, Chris, no, we are all human, I'm educated, you're educated, this, all that. But no, this is the reality.
Yes.
The reality is that there is a lack of respect. Some people do not want to respect others. Respect, the same respect that they give to a dog.
Jesus, yes, that's so true. And this is another thing. I was looking at the mermaid. Just look at the Little Mermaid. How much backlash there's been over the mermaid being a black woman.
And it's not even finished. Peter Pan. You heard also the other thing?
Yes.
I think it's Peter Pan or whoever. A Blanche Neige or something. It's also another black girl also. So a Little Mermaid. Yeah, Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. Yes.
Little Mermaid or something like, I'm too old. I don't know.
Yes. But Little Mermaid.
I picked that.
Yes. And people are going crazy. I mean, people really lost their mind about the Little Mermaid being black. Like, she's a fictional character. She's supposed to be white.
And now they're getting on Women King also. They're trying to boycott women. So I mean,
and Wakanda 2 is coming out, so that's gonna be another one.
So I'm just saying that let's learn every day on getting to know each other. That's all my message. My message is that, brothers and sisters, it's time for us now to merge, because you have something that is important for me, and I have something that is important for me. I'm gonna tell you something that I have. that you need to have and you miss it is to understand that you're not a number. Is to understand that your name, you fight for your name like just you fight for your social security number. Do you understand? It's a different paradigm. It's a different thing. So they took that away from you, my brothers and sisters. That's why sometimes you don't give a damn about kids. You don't give a damn about whatever. Because what it is, it's not your blood. It's fucked up. It's a shit. But in Africa, we were still able. We have also households in Africa, believe me. But that thing is there that when you have a child, it's your blood, it's your name. It's your name. So if a woman has your child, she want to play with your child, you're gonna take that child away because it's your name. You want to make sure that that child grows up a certain way. He goes to school. It's your name. It's your name. You see, so that's what we can give you, and you can give us the sense of respecting who we are. That we need to develop Africa, because Africa is Akebuland was the first land. It's not a dark land. It's not a dark land, because when you say Africa, and it's very different when you say Kemet land. Kemet is the land of the black. It's different than the black land. You understand? So let's not make it look like it's the black. It's like a black land. No, it's the land of the black, of the dark.
I love that. Ooh, that's deep.
So that's what I'm just saying. Like, brothers and sisters, let's talk about that thing. Or he, she, we did. No, we are African. We are black, and this time we need to put the respect all across universe. People need to respect. It's the respect. From respect comes development. From respect comes self-love. And there's a lack of self-love in Africa. That's why there's division. That's why we're looking at each other like, oh, he's from West Africa, he's from Central Africa. Oh no, he's not from our ethnic group. He's not from my tribe. Oh, he's Catholic. I'm not Catholic. I'm Muslim. All that shit.
Yes, for real, Christian.
That are not owned. That don't belong to us even.
I want to also address something, just in case the viewers are watching. I want to say, just because we're Afrocentric and we're concerned about things that affect Black people, because we're proportionately discriminated against, and because there's been a system set up of disadvantage for Black people, we are not anti-white. Like me and Christian both.
We're not. They are human beings.
That's right. But me and Christian both have white friends that we actually let come to our house. It's not a fake thing with us. You know what I'm saying?
No. Why is it that if we talk about the truth, we have to be looked at now antisocial or hate promoters and everything? No. It's just facts. It's just like if you're asking me who was I don't know, man. I don't know who was the reign of Queen Elizabeth. Who was it? I will tell you. Oh, she was British. It's the truth, right? She's British. She was in power over 60 years. Blah blah blah. Okay, it's the truth. So it's just like when we say that. Oh, the first emperor was Menes or Narmer. He was in Egypt somewhere there. I mean, or somewhere. It's just history. You should be so personal about it. It's just the reality. So. One day I was in a cab and somebody, she heard my accent and she said, "Oh, what is your dialect?" I said, No. Correction. Dialect is what they called our language because they wanted us to look primitive. They wanted us to look indigenous, unorganized, and everything. But how can you call a dialect a language that has alphabet? Anything that has an alphabet is a language. Because you can compose a word. You can write a word, compose it, and put A, B, C, or whatever. So it's a language. I don't speak a dialect.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm sorry, because I just have to let you know. Why but you want to act like you don't know.
Yes.
It's like you're going to ask me when I'm going to say the origin of such and such thing. I don't want to be too political here, but we can know when something started and when the other one didn't start. We know by the dates. So I just think that we have to respect each other. Today I want to really emphasize on respect, because a lot of my brothers in Africa don't respect being Africans, because I don't care. You have all the degrees in the world. but then you come to Africa and you accept somebody to be in power for over 50 years, or you think you find a logic on it, you find an excuse on it, you find a reason on it that, oh, we're in Africa. No, no, no. I'm an African, but that doesn't mean that I'm cursed. I'm an African. That doesn't mean that I don't want development.
Yes.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Yes.
So we really have to stand. It's not a war. We're not calling for war. We have to articulate that. We have to put it on the table. We have to talk about it. We have to discuss. We need to stop talking behind. Now we have to discuss face to face. And that's the thing in Africa. African are always scared to voice their opinion. And that's why, did you know that in America, the Africans send money every year to Africa?
Mm-hmm.
But do you know that we are the only one that don't really get return tax for it? Hispanic, Jew, Italian, all the other communities, when they send money, every time they send money to their country, it starts deducting. They get the money at the end of the year.
Wow, I didn't know.
Do you know that? Yes, I found it out. Yes, because Africans are the only one. Even when they become Americans, they will always be like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna talk." Or I'm American today. I don't want them to take my paper. They will shut up. It's something like that, and that's why we are like we are in Africa. They always like, "Oh, it's not my problem." Or, okay, since it's not touching me, it's okay. But no, if it touches the house of your neighbor, it's gonna touch your house one day.
Yes.
Or the house of your cousin, or your sister, or your friend, or the child of your friend. So we need to make things change in Africa. Not just for an ethnic group, not just for a religious group, but for every human in that country. We need to make things better. For example, in my country, do you know that in my country we only have 2 fire stations in the capital city? Only 2 firehouse. 2 in a city where there is more than 700,000 people. How can that be imaginable? But you have people that will come and say, "Oh, I'm an intellectual, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm African, I'm a pro." But look at that. But if you come to America, you'll be like, "Oh, I need fire, I need this, I need that." But now when you come to Africa, your own homeland, it's because you don't love yourself.
So good. So good.
So we need to start loving ourselves as an African, not just to say, "I'm African, I was colonized by French." And then when you want to impress the African American girl, you say, "Oh, I'm French. Oh, I'm French, I speak French." No, guys, stop that. You're not French. You were colonized by French. And if you're promoting that, that means that you're a slave mentally.
That's so good, Christian. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? No.
Yes, it's the thing that African Americans do too. I have Indian in my blood when they have nice hair. I'm like, no, well, why you just can't be happy to be an African American, whether you have Indian blood or not? Your hair, because you feel like it's a certain texture, doesn't make it bad. It's just what they taught you was good or bad.
Exactly. It's just look at how much money is spent in Africa every year to buy the Christmas tree. I was one time with one of my friends. She's French. I have French friends, white French.
Right,
we went to school together, and she came and visited me to show you how pacifist I am and lovable. She came to visit me in Africa. A friend. So she's like a manager in the pharmacy program. No, in the hospital. Yeah, she goes around the world and install a software, medical software. There's a special software that she's the one that goes around the world. So she came to Africa, to Gabon, and she told me, "Christian, we always laugh. Imagine a black person and a white person laughing about something so political like what I'm going to talk about." She's like, "Christian, why?" I said, "What?" She said, "Christian, look at this tree. Even me, I'm French. Even in France, I've not seen a so tall Christmas tree like that. A real one was imported. You know how every year in Africa they import Christmas tree, and you'll be in Africa and you smelling. That tree has
that pine smell. Yeah,
the smell. So when I used to be colonized, I was mentally slaved. I used to be so proud. In my house, we have the tree. Yeah! We are rich. We are better Africans. imagine, it's like you're saying that in America they were going to import every year coconut tree from Africa, or they're gonna like a plant, the hibiscus that is in Africa, they will bring it every year. They will never do that because they know there's an economical impact. But black people, African colonized mind, they import the Christmas tree, they import Easter, the eggs with stuff. They will import that. They will import strawberry fruit from Europe, while we have plants. We have the mangoes, we have the banana, we have so many plants. But you see, everything that I'm just saying, colonized mind. Colonized mind. Instead of seeing it as a problem, they will see that, oh, you see, we are rich. We have the Christmas tree here, like we were in Canada. Yeah. So you see, we don't respect each other. We don't love ourselves. You have the money to import the Christmas tree, but you don't have the money to take care of the handicapped people in my country. You give them per year $300 per year. That's what the government gives to the handicapped people. But you are intellectual and you are in America. But what you want to talk about is just power. I want to have power in Africa. I want to be president. But you want to be president and do what with your presidency? Right. What do you want to do with it? Is it to fill up your pocket or to change the life of the people in your country?
Oh my God, that's so powerful. And I think that's so needed, because too many times I feel like we don't give back to our communities. Even as African Americans, there's so many times when we've made it, as African Americans have made it, and they don't see the sense of having to give back or invest in the young people. Like, how do you get such a gift and you don't feel like you have to invest in anybody? You're going to die with everything you have? Like, who does that?
It is. I'm really going to talk to my brothers and sisters here. Like, guys, try to make a trip to Africa. I took 10 years ago, a friend of mine from New York. He came to Africa with me. And when we landed, the first shock that he had is that everybody was staring at him, because they were looking at me like, oh, we got the new Timberland, the classic. Hey, believe me, the African kids know even the latest thing more than your American kids here. They know even more. Right. Because they're colonized so deeply, yes, so that in Africa, but they know even more than what is there. They're connected with the internet and all that. Right. But he was shocked that everybody was staring at him. And I told him, no, they're not staring at you to rob you. Because in America, if somebody stares, they're going to rob you. Right. But in Africa, they stare because they just like, oh, she's beautiful. Ah, she's beautiful, my friend. Or they'll be like, oh, look at the shoe that he has here. Look at the shoe. But they will look, they will stare. So he got that. And then after, we went to a party, and there was like 300 people, black people. And at the end, he was like, Christian, it's my first time in my life to be in a place where there's like over 300 people partying. There's no gunshot, no fight, nothing. You have that a lot in Africa, in country like my country in Gabon, and a lot of country in Africa. People just show off. They want to show off. Like look even in America, where Africans party, there's not a lot of physical crime. Because African, when they go party, they want to show you. You will see somebody says it's summertime, but nigga got like 3 suits on himself. I'm sorry. He want to show off. So he's not here to look at who walked on my shoe and take a life of a brother. And that's my message to my brothers and sisters. Like, guys, the kid that you're killing, that you're taking the life, is somebody's father. Is someone's daughter's son. Fight him, beat him up. Why take his life? He's irreplaceable. He cannot come back. You see, so respect again on this side. Black people, we need to work on our respect. You have to respect life. And that's what we still have a little bit in Africa. But everybody has his own problem. That's why we have to sit down and solve our problems and give to each other something.
I love that. I can't
because I will whip, man. I'll whip. Yeah. I was 4-time Maryland champion in America, champion in Africa, all that. Yeah. But I'm not gonna kill you, bro. I'm not gonna kill you. Even if you took my woman, I'm not gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Even if you took my woman, I'm not gonna kill you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna beat your ass, but I'm not gonna kill you.
Yes, yes.
You see? Because who am I to take your life? Who am I to take your life? And if I take your life, somebody's gonna take my life too. Because that's the law. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So why can't you just be alive for your kids, for your grandkids, for your wife, for your children? Why? Why? You know, that's one thing that I'm still working on. How somebody cannot value his life to this point where he don't give a damn.
Mm.
You see, that's something that they succeeded here
Mm-hmm.
on some of my brothers and sisters. Like
The mind,
the
the
lack of
psychological, the
the lack of
psyche,
the
the lack
sense
of
of
empathy.
belonging. Yeah, there's
Empathy
no
and sense
sense of
of belonging.
belonging.
Yeah.
No more sense of belonging. No more
Yeah.
sense of belonging. You don't belong to nothing. You don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's till today. Like it's like, how did they did that magic? Like when this when the when an African American just bing, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. When he flips, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that hurts me a lot, you know, because sometimes you see young brothers just because of I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
You're
know,
right.
so
It's no sense of a higher in that sense. A lot of our young men who grow up in the streets and really grow up and have harsh lives, and they have no sense of not only belonging, but they have no sense of self, right?
choice is also choice. Like you could have all this million. Why don't you come to Vegas and buy?
He was talking about choices of people who go out and, take lives of African Americans. Oh, you got to unmute yourself, Christian, so we can hear you. Unmute yourself. And how that unmute yourself. You're muted. Yeah, I can hear
So,
you now.
so it is anyway, you know, I always like your show, your talk show and everything, but it's I think we need to sit down like back home. We sit down under a baobab, the biggest tree that we have in Africa. We sit down there and we talk. We have to talk with my brothers because there's so much opportunities in Africa nowadays. There's so much thing. See how Nigerians, from being the most corrupt country in the world, that they wanted to portray, people wanted to portray Africa, Nigeria, as the most corrupt country. But look at today, Nigerian decided to clean that image. Today, Nigeria kind of cleanses the image of Africa to the point where now everybody wants to be African. Everybody wants to go to Africa. Everyone wants to dance Afrobeat.
Yeah.
Look back in 10 years ago, when you put African music, people were like, oh shit, this shit, man, this African shit. But today, can you say that?
Yeah.
Can you say that again? Oh, this African shit. I'm sorry for my
No, it's
family.
okay. It's okay. I'm cracking up because it's true. I always loved African music, but yes, I understand. Yes. He froze, but yeah, it's so true. I'm laughing at what he's saying, how African culture has just really risen in the last couple of years, the last decade. African music, African clothes has really become a big thing.
Yeah.
Everything African.
Yeah. Yeah, because but let me tell you, I want to give respect, a big shout out to my people from Nigeria, because they did a very good job, because they're the one who showed to the world the Africa that you don't see on TV. They showed it on TV. They showed you on TV that in Africa you can have rich estates. You can see boats like in Miami. You can see jets. You can see limousine. You can see Bentleys, Maserati, Bugattis in the village. Even in the villages, I've seen in the village of my mother. I see Bentleys in the village.
I love it. You know what? Let me just say this too. If Nigeria has really come up, I don't know if it was Nigeria, but one African country even banned white models. So now they're gonna only promote their own models. I love that. And Ghana did a big thing too, where they allowed a lot of African Americans to come back. Remember Return to Africa, that whole Return to Africa thing. And a lot of African Americans went there and had the time of their life. And I wanted to go, I couldn't go, but of course, I'm planning to go within the next year or so. and really began to see what Africa was like, visited everything that, the slave, castle, everything. And it really changed their lives. So big shout out to Africans and, just really stepping up, opening, really, really showing us what Africa is like. I love what you said, Christian. And so I can't wait till your book comes out. I'm going to really help you step up with that the end of the year. Let me just get through my PhD. But it's so much for you to say, and we got to have like a conversation. Maybe we'll do like a round trip table and kind of like, with other people. We need to do that.
Definitely. And like I said, it's time for my brothers and sisters to go to Africa, buy a piece of land in Africa. You could buy a land with less than 30,000. You could buy a piece of land in Africa. You could have a house in Africa with less than $400,000. You have a land by the water, by the river or the beach. I mean, there's so much that you can do.
Yeah.
You see, but let's do that. And in terms of business, anything that you produce in America, when you take it to Africa, it's at least twice the price. So you're never losing.
Yeah.
It's one of the continents where you cannot go broke if you're going to invest because there's so much opportunities. Why do you want to be here where there's so much competition? You got to compete with the Chinese. You got to compete with the French that come here. You got to compete with the sisters. You got to compete. I mean, it's like crazy. Go somewhere where everybody's looking at you because you are American.
That's good advice. I love it.
Even your books, when you want to go to Paris, let me know. With my agency, with my company, The Bridge, I'll set up a place for you, a venue for you to present your book, to have people that are interested in African American culture. You have stuff like that. Go to Europe, have vacation, and do business at the same time. Like for girls, buy human hair, all those hair you guys do. Do you know how much money Africa spends on fake hair? I'm not here to promote fake hair, but I'm known that all these queens there, you guys like to do, is from Cleopatra that shit started, with Cleopatra, the makeup and all that, black people. So I know you like fashion, but please, go do your business in Africa. You will be a millionaire in less than a year. Believe me, the Chinese go to Africa. Wherever you see Chinese, know that there is money. Understand what I'm saying? Wherever you see Chinese, understand that there is money there. Okay.
I love that. I love it. Yeah. So me and Christian, we can talk all day, but we're gonna have a part 2. Christian, give him your website. I know he's available on all social media platforms. Just look him up. Tell him what your website is.
You could look me up, Christian Nkombengnondo, my name that is there. I have a page and I have an account. And then my website is www.thebridgelasvegas.com. We are building it right now. I mean, it's already done, but we're trying to put the prices of the different packages and all that. But you can also look me up with my clothing line, what I'm wearing right now.
Aniche, right?
Yes. So it's INT. I'm putting it right here. You can put it for me.
I'll put it in the comments.
So INTCHE jeans.com. So it's a conscious clothing line to let you know that, Africa, we understand also what is happening. So don't think that every African is so colonized that he doesn't want to fight for decolonization. I'm one of those that really believe in unity in diversity. I believe in that. So I'm not a segregationist or whatever you say. No, I love humans. But I love respect. And that's what we demand. We demand respect because we're all humans, So there's no race there's no human more important than the other one because it's only one race. There's no two races. There's only one race, the humankind. Because I almost said the black race, the white race. No, that doesn't exist. Only one race, the humankind.
Amen. I love that. So check them out. And then I'm going to promote too when you have those trips. I'll promote them on my page too.
Definitely. First trip is in December for those who want to buy a land in Africa. For those who want to go take cure. If you are addicted to something or whatever, we have a program over there with some plans. Exactly. Just hit me up, And it's not something where I'm trying to do some money or making money. I'm keeping it real with you. I want just you people to come and visit. It's not really about the money and all that stuff. No. I want you to come and visit and have your own experience.
All right. Thank you so much, Christian, for being a part of the show. It got dark on me, guys, so that's why you don't see me. But I'm Chalet. This is Christian. He is an awesome entrepreneur, activist. Check him out, and we'll see you for the next show on Monday night at 7 p.m. Stay blessed.
Bye-bye.